Hello, I'm FPX Toycat. Welcome back to an episode of my Minecraft Bedrock Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the weekly update as to what's going on both in my Minecraft Bedrock world and indeed life of the universe and everything in between. And in today's video, I was going to start a brand new project. I love starting new projects, as you all do know, but then I saw this meme, someone tweeted it to me, and I realized, like, you know what, this totally is me just all the time, right? Like, every single, week we're starting some form of a new project, and that's when I realized, you know what, a good rule to have, and something I try to do, is every 3 or 4 new projects I start, I should probably finish one of my existing projects that I started and didn't get anywhere with, because let's be real, starting a project is the most fun part, at least for me. Finishing a project, it's not quite so fun. So in today's video, I'm going to be going a very long distance that way, and the reason I'm going to be going a very long distance that way is to do with a big project that I thought would be a cool idea, but that was kind of supplanted by the idea of shulker boxes. I use so many shulker boxes now, as you know from my kind of end pathway. I have a lot of shulker boxes and the ability to make a few more if I need to. I have a lot of shulker boxes and I use them as my main form of transport for big amounts of resources between big projects, and it works perfectly fine at that, of course. In fact, it doesn't just work fine, it works amazingly for that, but I'm at the point now where I use so many shulker boxes that they're now starting to weigh down my inventory. Sometimes when I'm working on something big, like the Stone Forest, coming up soon, by the way, as a live stream series, but when I start covering the Stone Forest again, or when I'm like covering my end in glass, or all these sorts of projects that just require huge bulk number of resources, I obviously am using so many inventory slots and shulker boxes that it starts to become unwieldy again, and that's why I figured this is the time for my, my stable, I guess you could call it. This is the time for my horsey area to shine, because over here I have a stable. By the way, unfinished stable. I mean, it's finished enough that I can store horses here, which is why I never bothered finishing the rest of it, but it looks kind of ugly, as you can see, with just random blocks missing and stuff like that. Today, we're going to be finishing the stable. Today, we're going to be making this look like a real thing, and also today, I'm going to be starting to breed some mules, because I came to the conclusion, mules are a really fun thing in Minecraft, right? Because they allow you to have pretty, nice speeds, faster than donkeys, but also, if you want to, if you ride them, you can find the 15 slots on there. In this case, we filled this one with shulker boxes already. One of them's got Nevrac on, actually. Oh, in fact, a lot of them have weird things in there, like diamond leggings, chestplate, and leggings that I forgot about. But I have all these, man, I really did forget about this mule having all these shulker boxes. I just need to take a second to take inventory of that. But this is such a cool idea to be able to take 15 shulker boxes with you without taking a single inventory slot, and all you need to do is make one of these mules. And I figured, like, wait a minute, rather than just making a mule, because, you only really need one at a time, what if I tried to make a super mule? Because one of my goals has always been to make a super horse. I really like this horse right here. I even used it for my end walk that you're going to see somewhat soon. But, like, this horse is fast, it jumps high, and the only thing it sucks at is health, but I don't really put my horses in dangerous situations. I don't know about you guys, but that's not what I'm personally doing. And it kind of made me realize, like, you know what, if we have such a, good horse anyway, why don't we keep on breeding the horse with the donkey that we've got until we get, ourselves, say, a decent little, mule, the best mule we can have possible, and then we can use that as our kind of thing. So that's what today's to die, you're all gonna die like this skeleton horse over here. This is what happens because I forgot the project too long, and obviously the horses just died. Or more seriously, I just collect skeleton horses at this point. It's a fun little side project. Bit eccentric, I'll admit, but, it works that way. That's what we're going to be doing in today's video. We're going to be extending and improving the stable. So, hope you'll enjoy it. Let's dive into this one. It shouldn't be too much effort, though we're going to have to start getting carrots. And while we do that, I guess I should just, again, in these Let's Plays, sometimes I feel like I talk way too much about Minecraft, sometimes way too little. And it's weird that, like, I can have a Minecraft video where I feel like I talk too much about Minecraft. But it's weird, like, the kind of point of this series is it is one of the ones that is, like, very much, it's in Minecraft. It's my Let's Play. It's something I care a lot about. But also, at the same time, it's something where people don't expect that so much. So when we're like, all the way focused on it one week, people are just like, Toycat, this is real weird that you just spoke about Minecraft all that time. So how about I give you an update as to what's going on in my, my life otherwise? Because I've been trying to make small personal changes, and people say that they usually have like some reason, but personally I genuinely am of the opinion that like most of the things that people claim do good for most people are entirely placebo based, like drinking green juice. I enjoy drinking juice that is green, unless it's like, like actually like thick and contains the things in there, etc. Like just drinking juice, fruit juice isn't good for you. It feels better for you than drinking, like, I don't know, Sprite or Fanta or something like that. But it doesn't mean it is better for you, because, just because something feels a way doesn't mean that it is said way. Also, I should have an ender chest around here. I'm really sad that I don't, because that was my plan. I have some gold in that chest. Now we have to go like find an end chest. It's going to be a whole thing. So we'll do that in a little bit because I want to breed the horses and the donkey together, and I want to just keep on doing it throughout the episode as I work on the stable. So let's go find an end chest, and then let's fly back here, I guess. Okay, instead of using an end chest, I've just found my gold stash, which I have right up here in my chest room. The very same one that I worked on last week. It's making some good progress, I feel like, and I kind of like that. So yeah, what we also need to do over here is grab some birch logs, which if I'm not mistaken we have in here, so we can make some chests later, because you know what we need? We need some, we need some chests to put on those donkeys. Or at least the best donkey. I guess we only need like a chest, but it's always good to have them around in an area where you've got something specifically there for the purpose of making like chest monkeys or chest animals. It's good to have some chests around with you. Also, you know what, just in case we decide we need it, because it's always good to name something that you like, let's go ahead and let's bring a name tag with us. And actually we get to name a mule today. Like, we don't know which mule it's going to be, but let's make a name tag for this one so we know what to name it when we're done. So exactly what this name tag is will remain a secret until we do name our, our mule that we find. If we decide we even like it, entirely possible we don't. And yeah, that's the thing we're going to be going through after we go to sleep, because of course, as you can see, well, you could see. You actually can't see the outside light from here, but as you can see, sun is setting very slowly, actually. Let's just go sleep in our little place over there, which we can do by wasting a firework. I've been wasting so many fireworks recently, it's been a whole thing, and it kind of ties me back into what I was saying about lifestyle changes, right? One of the big changes I made in my Minecraft world a while back, because I was just flying literally everywhere all the time, is I decided, like, no, actually, I'm going to have to, like, limit where I fly to, because my Elytra, needs more experience, and also, the amount of fireworks I was wasting, it just didn't really seem sustainable or good, and, in fact, I kept running out of fireworks, in fact, but because I've spent so much time just killing every creeper I see now, when it's nighttime, if I see a creeper, I kill it. Do I see any creepers? I don't. Well, I don't kill them, but, like, that was my strategy for so long that I have much more of them, and I feel like that eternal balance of, like, pulling back after doing something dumb and like doing the opposite when the opposite is true. I feel like that is a balance that brings some good. Also, I guess we need to make a crafting table here even. Man, this part of the world. Oh no, there's a crafting table in the water over there. Well, let's just have another crafting table, okay? Because, oh, there's also a crafting table by my bed. But you know what? Just in case we need to craft by the chest as well, it's essential we have one there too. So let's go ahead and let's just craft ourselves really quickly some golden nuggets, and then once we've made all of that into golden nuggets, you know what? We can craft our entire stack into golden carrots with only 3 golden nuggets to spare. Oh, we had 6 in there already. Well, now we have more golden carrots, and now we can use these to just continuously breed our favorite horse. Oops. Actually that was necessary. Our favorite horse with this donkey over and over and over again until we get some good results. So let's see what this eventually leads to, because we can't actually check the mules until... Oh, no, the baby mule can escape. That's not a good thing. But yeah, we're just going to keep on breeding them every 5 minutes, and every 20 minutes, we'll get a brand new mule out of it. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I feel like a lot of lifestyle changes are all about... Like, I don't think that, like, any particular change, like deciding to only eat fruit or deciding to only... I can't even think of most of the stupid lifestyle changes you could choose to make. But loads of changes have this kind of concept to them where they seem like they are this amazing thing. People like to swear by them. But the reality is, I think, by making a change, by having something in your life that you are motivated towards, that you decided to stick to, and that you're deciding to, like having a goal greater than yourself in life is something that's always fun to do. So the idea of just making a change, any change, is something I always advocate for. Like, rather than saying, hey, you need to do this one thing that I do, and you need to stick to that because I'm so great, and you guys, what you don't understand is just how wonderful I am and how cool my ideas are. Rather than saying that, which I think is not helpful to anyone but my own ego, the thing I always like to be like is just make a change. And that's what I do for myself when I'm like feeling like, oh man, I just feel rough right now. Just make a change. It doesn't need to be the best change. It might even be a literally bad change. Like, you know what? I'm deciding I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna start beating up homeless people, in the street. When I see them. Like, not a good change. Probably illegal where you live. But at least you're doing something, right? Maybe it sticks to some goal you believe in. Because realistically, most people aren't going to start doing that. Most people would feel bad if they decide to beat up strangers, especially the most vulnerable strangers. And so instead, they'd be like, oh yeah, actually, instead of beating up homeless people, I'm going to start volunteering at a soup kitchen and beat them up in the diet by... Oh, wait, I'm going to beat up homeless people's hunger. Yeah, that's a thing you can do. But like, yeah, so the changes I've been making in my life recently have basically just been to like making sure that there's like a meal with vegetables in there every day, which sounds so stupid. It sounds like, really, Toy Cat, you're 24 and that's like a hard thing to do. But it genuinely is. Like, I have such a aversion to eating. Like, I really just don't like most vegetables personally. I think that they're all pretty bad. I can eat if like, you know, when people say like you have to eat 5 fruit or vegetables a day, it's like, heck yeah, I'll eat fruits at least, you know, bearable because it's got that sugar and tastiness to it. I find you know, actually going through and drinking, I guess, yeah, making or drinking, like, but like doing something with like fruit is so much easier than anything to do with vegetables. Most of them just suck, and it's really hard to cook any vegetable in a way that it doesn't suck, to the point where if I, you know, like, to basically do it, you have to make them so unhealthy that you might as well not. I love making, you know, like kale into a bunch of snacks, but I do so by ruining the kaliness of it. Also, yeah, I've decided I'm gonna expand this, I think, because, or at least at the very least I'm gonna leave these here, because I feel like having just one of these on each way isn't as fun as having 2. So we'll have like another gap over here. Does this line up perfectly? We're going to have another couple of these ones just so we can expand it a little bit and have more space for all the mules that we're inevitably going to end up with by breeding. You know, fun fact, when you breed mules, you get more mules than you had before. So let's see if we can breed these guys again while we talk about the fact that, you know, I think, for instance, like a great lifestyle change that sounds like awful on the surface is like, well, like, you know, again, an example of like the fact that people come up with all sorts of bad ones all the time, but they don't know they're bad because they don't come across that way. But like, for instance, I don't know, like, what if I started the idea of like, we should all start peeing in the shower. This isn't news for anyone. Like, everyone knows people pee in the shower, right? Half of people urinate in the shower, and half people are disgusted when they learn that the other half do that. It's one of my favorite little facts about life, I guess. But yeah, half people pee in the shower, half people are upset by that, and it's always like a fun thing of like, ha ha ha, you should start doing it. But you know what the real niche interest with regards to where you should pee to save the environment is? Pee in the sink, right? Because if you pee in the shower, you're only peeing 1 time a day. That's no good for you, friendo. But what you should really start doing is you should start peeing in the sink, because you think about it, right? If you're washing your hands, which actually not, here's another one that people would be like, oh, this isn't so good, even though it's very much pro-environment, like a lot of the changes that people claim to make specifically for environmental reasons. But like, if you say something along the lines of like, hey, I think we should all start not washing our hands, because think about it. I mean, what even, you know, like, assuming we go for, you know, number 1s at the bathroom, because who doesn't like to, you know, like, we should say number 1 just to be like, you know, like, ooh, the word pee is actually uncomfortable to me. But like, I really do feel like the idea of, oh man, have we run out of wood? God damn, oh wait, I think we have some in the chest. I hope we have some in the chest. We do, perfect. I feel like the idea of using the shower, I feel like the idea of every single time that you pee, washing your hands, it's something that's like trained into most people by default all the time. But like, why is it so necessary, right? And the reason it's so necessary is because hygiene, of course. I mean, you gotta stay hygienic. But it's like, one, I mean, is hygiene more important than the environment? Is your feeling, you know, like, because what it reality comes down to, because you're not really doing anything wrong, it's just like, you feel better about things, and you feel better knowing other people do it and stuff. Or like, you don't want to have someone else's like junk hands touching your stuff in some way. But like, think about how much water is wasted on like this kind of like feel-good routine. You know, in some cultures it's not a thing that's done. And in the same way, like, I feel like one of the big changes that you could make to like make the environment better is like, what if we all switch to bidets? I use one of the things I find so interesting is that the biggest like waste we have in society, you know, because whenever paper straws come up, which make me, you know, like, it's something that's so stupid that is only brought about by people who really don't hate paper straws. That's right, you thought this was a YouTube video about horses? No, that's right, every YouTube video on this channel eventually leads us back to back to the inevitability of you know, paper straws and stuff, because they're that bad, by the way. But like, yeah, we're also going to remove all the stone now and replace it with dirt, because or at least grass. But, you know, you have to place dirt, it's going to grass. Just because I want to have, like, a consistent floor here and make it look like it's a nice little area. But, yeah, so I feel like, you know, paper straw is one of those great examples of a thing that people like to, it's something, like, it's one of the big changes that we've made is like, oh, you know, we finally realized that climate change, or, you know, turtles are real bad, and we're finally gonna, you know, start doing something about it, starting with these straws. But one, it's not a particularly effective change to make. It's just one that's everyone can easily agree on and be like, oh yeah, sure, I guess, and feel like they're making a good change. It's that thing I was saying about how, like, making a lifestyle change, or even, in this case, it's like a full-on corporate level change, but like, making a change to your life, or even to your society, is something that people like to do without, not because of the effects it brings, but because of the feel-good of making a change for positive reasons. So when people see, like, oh yeah, they switched to paper straws, how nice for them, you know, like, people who don't care about their straws, or who don't use a straw, they love that sort of thing. People who actually use straws and enjoy the benefits of them are like, well, actually, they feel awful, also you need more of them in your drink, also, you know, like, most people who are in favor of them don't use them anyway. These are the sorts of things that come up, and the reason I'm saying this is not just because, guess what, I'm ranting about paper straws again, which you're not. Actually, here I am again ranting about paper straws, but it's because it kind of ties into what I was just saying right there, where, like, you know what, the best change we could make is we could all start using bidets. We could all start, instead of using paper to wash our behinds, or even our fronts if you're, you know, that way inclined, what if instead of that, people instead used, you know, like, water to do so. Like, they do so in most of the world. Like, I saw a Twitter post this week where someone was like, oh yeah, can't wait till these are standard in Western countries, and they showed a bidet hose, and people were like, we have those in our sinks already, and it's like, yeah, we have the technology, there's just not the cultural change towards it. Like, people are really, really down to demand other people change a thing, but really, really reluctant to change things about themselves, and that is the sort of lesson, that's the lesson that, you know, a part of me wants to be like, aha, we're all hypocrites, etc., etc., etc. And there is definitely some truth to that too. But the thing that I find, the lesson I take away from it, the point I'm trying to raise here, is that, like, actually, we're all super opposed to change. Everyone, you know, there is like a two-sided world we live in sometimes. There's, like, the reformers, people who want the world to change in some way to make their ideal utopia. And there are people who think that what we have is something that was very hard to get and should be at least considered it in the future. But, you know, the real thing is that everyone hates change. Just some people like to advocate for... Or most people hate change. Some people love change and only want change. I would describe myself in a lot of ways as, like... I like to experience, like, controlled change in some ways. Which, is that even really change, or is that just a controlled form of doing a thing? I don't know for sure. But everyone hates new concepts, especially ones that, like, kind of pushed on them. People find new things to be very tricky on a societal level, and that's why most successful changes are ones that are you know, things that come with some big benefit to use them. Like, you know what, the change we had from self-checkouts, you know, like, actually, here's a fun one. Most old people hate self-checkouts, right? It's like, oh, I have to learn a whole new way of, like, doing things. I have to scan this myself and stuff. Same with, like, at airports, like, getting a boarding pass from a machine. Like, it's a dream for me. Rather than waiting in line and, like, going through this whole thing, you just go to a robot, and the robot goes, yes, you just need a piece of paper so you can get on your flight. I'll give you the piece of paper. These are things that are loved by the younger generations, the people who are more willing to, like, who understand technology better, you might say. But people who don't understand it so well are like, oh god, this is the worst. It's not the thing that I know. It's not the thing that I've, you know, grew up with and been raised with, etc. And I find that, you know, just to be hugely interesting. That kind of microcosm of what I'm saying, that people in general hate change, and that's why I think, especially if you're in a situation in your life where you don't hate change, take advantage of it, I guess. Make small changes in your life, or big changes, or medium-sized changes. You know, make a change of any size that you like. But I really do think, like, just making a change in your life, fixing something that feels broken, fixing, or you know, not even necessarily that, like, fixing things that feel broken, of course, that's a good thing. You should always be doing that. But also, it's just probably a good idea to work on, like, it's a good idea to have some part of your life that you're always working on, whatever that may be, because it's really easy to, like, kind of stay, to fall, I guess, the word I'm thinking of is stagnant, but I don't know if it's correct here, but, like, it's really easy to just lay on your laurels or whatever, but I don't think that's, like, a good way to live life, because there are some, like, okay, here's how I see life. Life is like a game of, like, 10 different, let's say 5 different, to keep things simple. There's, like, 5 different things you've got to manage in life at any given point in time. There's, you know, there's like, your main occupation, whether that's education or whether that's employment, it's your productive task that you do in the world for other people, for yourself, you know, which sounds, you know, like the opposites, but like that, the reason you're in education is so that at the end you can have some fancy certificate that says, hey, I managed to do what I was told for X amount of time. Please give me money and I'll do what I'm told for you. That's, you know, obviously there are people who are better at things. There are skilled positions where you do need to have knowledge and ability to think on your feet, but that's the most of what it's there for. And then when you're in a job, you do the thing, and you can advance in your job if you're like, you know, working out ways that you can advance, or you can not advance in your job. If you're not putting very much thought or effort into it, if you're just kind of going past things, most of the time, you know, the advancement thing isn't so true. Whereas if you're, you know, putting active thought and effort into it, you can do that. So there's like, obviously there's your employment, but then there's also like your, you know, your relationships, whether that be with in your family. I personally, I don't understand people who like have to have super close relationships with family, but you know, like that's a thing that some people are very big on. You know, they're like your relationships, chosen or otherwise. You know, you can have the most wonderful trophy wife in the world, but like maybe not even trophy wife. Maybe she's a wife that's so nice that you gave her a trophy. But you know, you can have the most wonderful things in the world, but if you're not thinking, if you just forget about it and you just say, well, it's done now, so I've locked it down. You know, a relationship is an ongoing task. You got to continuously do it. Same with fitness, right? You can't just go to the gym and like if you have the most wonderful body, it requires maintenance. Same with diet. You know, yeah, diet's another one of those things I'd say. Same with like you know, your mental happiness as a whole. Managing all those bubbles is like a hard thing to do, and that's why it's good to just make a change somewhere. Because making a change is easy because it feels good. It feels like something greater than you. Whereas just saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this but slightly more, is hard to do. I guess what I'm saying right here is motivating yourself is a hard thing to do, but also that's why you should do it, or something along those lines. Yeah, I'd say that's a good overall kind of message to take from this one though. Also, I feel like I should add more slabs to the roof over here. Like, I don't really like the way this is poking out. I think if we add a few more, that might do something nice. Yeah, I guess that's a bit better. It kind of shows, yeah, I think we do that on both sides, and then we're gonna be good. And now we need to do is get ourselves some wooden fence, and now look at that. We've got this wonderful couple extra in an actually finished horse stable that's slowly but surely producing mules. Speaking of producing mules, let's go in real quick and let's make a couple more, probably. It's meant to be every 5 minutes, but it feels like we're doing this way more often than 5 minutes. But maybe that's just because time's flying, because I'm talking to you, my chosen relationship on the internet. But yeah, so there's lots of things in your life, lots of bubbles you've got to watch out for at the same time. And I find that to be very hellish inducing if you don't focus on it. But yeah, that's why you should focus on it. So yeah, another thing I've been thinking about this past week, because I finished You. Very good. Oh, actually very good. I don't know. Like I said, it's a show that I enjoyed because it's like just good enough to watch. Which sounds like an insult, but I really think as I've grown older, I've stopped. I realized that not everything needs to be great. So in fact, I think if everything was perfect, not everything would be perfect. I think having better and worse forms of entertainment is fine. And it's even preferable because you need different levels of entertainment and different levels of things. Some people listen to this or watch it while they're playing Minecraft, like, you know, 2 different screens. And that's something you wouldn't do with, I don't know, Game of Thrones, for instance, or something like that. You know, it has a different level of engagement. Not to say that this is better than Game of Thrones. In fact, it's objectively true that it's not. Actually, wait, Game of Thrones sucked in the end, so not to say it's better than your favorite, you know, this or that. You know, you might prefer a different thing I do on the channel, but it's shorter. It's a more condensed version. Sometimes you need the long form this, and yeah, I guess I've been watching. I watched You. It was good, but also not that good, but also good enough for what I wanted it to be, and that was kind of nice, I guess. So yeah, the other thing. Also, I think I have wood in here. If I'm not, where do I keep my wood? I need to get these things on lockdown. So let's take smoke logs out. Let's put my stone away somewhere, and also my carrot. And you know, yeah, we have a real mess just building up here. But yeah, so this past week I watched that all the way through, and there's a couple of things I kind of noted as I went through. One was so again, this isn't a spoiler really, but at one point in the series there is a debt collector involved, someone who collects on debt. And you know, in every TV show they're always like made out to be the bad guy, and you know, I guess to some extent that's like it's a hard thing to negotiate. Someone who comes after you trying to break your legs is always going to seem like the bad guy, right? Because, I mean, man, I hate when people try to break my legs. How rude. I totally get. I get why in TV shows that's a thing. I get why in real life loan sharks are very much not recommended as a thing you should do. But I think about loan sharks, and I think about it from the angle of, like, man, someone should feel bad for the debt collector. You know, same with, like, bailiffs or repo people, I think is the American term for a bailiff. Repossession is, I guess, what repo stands for. I just realized right now. But, yeah, so, like, people who have to repossess stuff, people who have to collect things, and, you know, on the debt, etc., like, everyone's always like, they're so bad, but, like, they're just trying to, you know, get back what they're owed, right? Like, you promise them, oh yeah, I'll borrow 10,000 now, I'll give you 12,000 back next month. High interest rate, fair, but, you know, they have to factor in your rate of non-collection, and if you didn't like the interest rate, you wouldn't have signed up for it, probably. I feel like, also, I should have taken more dirt with me. Should we go back and do that? Or, you know, we won't go back and do that. But, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I feel bad for them, because it's just like, oh yeah, this client of yours, you know, this person who you trusted and gave money to, they betrayed your trust. They took your money without an intention of actually paying it back, without a real plan as to where they were going to get the money from. You know, some people do it for gambling, some people do it for drugs, admittedly. But, like, if it's just, you know, those are situations where you shouldn't be doing that, of course. But, like, the person on the other end of that isn't the person at fault. It's the person who made the bad mistake, right? And that's why they have to charge such high... Anyway, what I'm trying to say right here, this is maybe, like, the weirdest angle I have, but, like, I feel bad when there's, like, when there's a debt collector in a show, when there's, like, you know, someone who's going around to break their legs. It's like, they just want their money back. They would go away if you just gave them the money, which, by the way, you borrowed from. Like, I guess what I've always had in my life is, like, when someone borrows something from... Like, this happened to me all the time in school. Well, not all the time, happened, like, twice, and then I realized, oh, everyone I know at school is a lying, I don't know, monster. A lying POS. Ah, look at that. Haha, very clever evasion of using swear words. Although you should probably swear on YouTube so that people don't claim that it's Minecraft and therefore appeals to kids. So, you know what? That's a thing we'll totally do. But you get the point that, like, there is, like, people who, like, borrow something from you and then claim they'll give it back and then don't give it back. That's real bad, right? That's not good. That never feels great. No one ever enjoys that. You know, it's objectively not a good feeling. But yet, at the same time, we're meant to be like, you know, these Russian gangsters admittedly only giving money away because of the money they can get in return. You know, they're just making a business. Actually, you know, even though the money probably first came from illicit sources, the idea of loaning out money in exchange for getting more is not illicit in any way, although actually a lot of religions explicitly forbid it. Actually, fun fact, while we're here anyway, this is, like, offensive news of Toy Cat. But the reason that, prior to, you know, the 19th century, the reason there was so much hatred for the, one particular race in Europe that was, exterminated at one point, again, and unfounded, but, like, the reason that the stereotype that Jewish people are usually rich is because back in the day, a lot of religions forbid, I think it's called usury, like, making interest on loans. Like, it's even in the Bible at one point that Jesus is like, hey, you want to make money on your loans? That's not okay. You know, again, you know, me and Jesus have different opinions on Russian gangsters coming to break your legs, clearly, I would imagine. But, there's a really interesting thing where, like, oh yeah, they did not have such a restriction on them, and as a result, if you can use your money to make more money while everyone else around you can't, you're gonna make more of it, and that's what led to the resentment, which led to the, you know, the whole eventual attempted extermination, which was horrific, and you know, helps you see the worst of humanity, at least in A-Land. So let's grab our dirt from here, actually. Not that I need to, but I mean, I guess if we're here anyway. We could just take some stone with us, which I guess would always be useful. Some cobblestone too, maybe? You know, no, we're good. I think we're pretty good. So we're just going to go to sleep. We're going to fly back, and then we'll fill in the dirt around it while we keep on breeding these donkeys. It'll be great, in my opinion. Actually, you know, let's do one of these long-form Let's Plays. I like the cutting around we do for most videos, but I'm having like a long-form feeling day today. I'm having like a let's do no cuts. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So one of the things I also realized from you, besides that, like, I feel bad for debt collectors every time, because again, I mean, like, you know, when I don't borrow money from people very often. When I do, it's like, here is the fixed date I will pay you back by, when I will give you the money. Like, you know, because if when someone borrows money from you and then doesn't give it back, but also makes insane spending decisions in their personal life, like, I don't know, had a friend who spent like, you know, 100 something on lunch, while he owed me like, I don't know, 100 and something for a holiday, by the way, that he's like, oh yeah, like, book it now, I'll pay you immediately, and then he's like, oh, turns out I wasn't paid. When people go through all the effort to like borrow, you know, to basically sneak money away from you, it's almost like a form of theft. It's almost like, hey, an affront to you, almost like an insult to you, I would say, of like, haha, you know, I can get away with not paying for a thing. In the same way that, like, whenever people operate by the honor system, in my experience, of like, oh yeah, what we'll just do is like, we all need to pay for a taxi, just someone can get it now and then someone will get it next time and it'll all be different each time. What that inevitably leads to is like some people being more likely to get it, because you can, whether you know you're doing this or not, psychologically you can come to the conclusion of like, hey, if I just pretend I don't have money, then people won't try and, you know, like, I get free things, so why would I not just pretend I don't have money, or even better, just not have money at all. One of the things that like reinforces a lot of like, sadly, like a lot of behavior that leads to you know, like, I guess lack of wealth mobility is the idea that like, in a lot of communities, if you have money, it goes away fast, and you're like, oh, well, that money I had's gone now. Better spend it real fast. I've spoken about that a few times, but like, it's a really easy trap to get yourself into that I've heard from so many people, and that like, again, I think I've said before, I'd love to make like a finance channel just to help people with like the weirdest misconceptions, like the one that like, oh, if you earn more money, you have to pay more tax because, you know, it's better to earn below a certain tax band so that you don't have to, you know, pay a higher tax rate. But it's like, no, they only pay it on the percent above that. Like my mother even, like, she recently, if you don't know, actually, you know, do you want to hear about my family? I had a parental figure recently like go back to uni and like graduate as a nurse, and now she's like doing things with the NHS in the UK, and she's like, oh man, I'm really worried because I'm about to hit the rate where you pay 40% instead of 20%, and I was like, you know, not how that one works. And it's crazy that, you know, someone who's like is into maths and actually quite intelligent, you know, you always think your parents are intelligent, right? No one thinks their parents are like dumb as heck. Actually, I think a lot of people do, now that I think about it. That's probably the more prevailing thought. But it's kind of worrying when it's like, oh man, like even people you think are smart can make these sorts of mistakes. And that's why I'd love to make a finance channel someday. But yeah, so I feel bad for debt collectors. Now you understand the link to that and racism in Europe in the second millennium. Are we in the third millennium right now? That sounds like that can't be true, but you know, it probably is, right? So I'm going to quickly go, okay, one sec. We're going to breed a horse with a donkey. By the way, mules you can't breed because they're infertile. Oh, actually, you just ate my golden carrot, so whatever, dude. But you can't breed these dudes, they're infertile. Like a lot of animal crossbreeds, actually. But yeah, we're going to breed these guys, and we're going to stand here for a bit, wait the storm out, and Google, are we in the third millennium? Because it makes sense that we would be, but it feels... The third millennium is the 2000s. It includes the year 2000, but not 3000. Okay, so, fun fact, we are in the third millennium right now. That's crazy. It was a whole millennium ago that we did insert bad things here. We have significantly improved since then, I would say. But, yeah, basically, where did my chests go? Oh, they're inside here now. But, oh, we need to go get some saddles. Let's go back, let's get some saddles, let's wait for the storm to blow over, and let's wait for our children to grow up. I don't know where I keep my saddles in my world, by the way, so most of my saddle collecting time is going to be spent just looking around random chests, like my food chest. Aha! I knew that I did a bunch of raids in this village, which means I can bring a bunch of saddles with me. By the way, since I always find it beautiful to watch, instead of just saying, oh yeah, I went away for a bit, what if instead I show you this, but at high speed? Because I love watching grass grow, there's something beautiful about seeing it in high speed, so I'll let you see that right now. Unless maybe I should go instead and make some charge creepers. Wait, I learned my lesson from the last time I got charge creepers. Let's not do that again. Let's watch some grass grow, and let's watch the sunset. And the skeleton ruins everything. You had to do it, man. Had to ruin my beautiful time lapse that was planned. It's funny actually just how much time I spent like watching grass grow and just how little grass actually did. Even though this is like optimal growing conditions for it, so I guess that's an interesting thing for you all. But let's go to sleep, let's check on our mules, and let's see which of them is going to be the fastest. Because again, we need a fast mule or it defeats the point of having one. So let's see if we've got that. Also, there's a creeper up there, and I made a big point about how I wanted to stop that. So let's go ahead and let's climb up there. I'd love to use scaffolding, but I don't have any on me. It might be more efficient than wasting a firework and getting some, to just waste a firework by getting up there that way. As wasteful as that feels, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. So let's kill some creepers. Let's get some gunpowder off those fireworks, because that's a change I made for the better. And let's do it. But yeah, one of the things that I always think is worth watching out on is like your mental aptitude towards the world. Your feelings on, I guess, how you feel as a whole, and trying to manage that. Because it's something that is incredibly tricky to kind of keep a handle on. And that's why I figured, like, one of the things I've learned from watching you is I think I'd really like to have a therapist. But not, like, because, you know, like, having therapists is just, like, having someone to talk to. It always looks so fun when you watch TV shows and movies and stuff. But, like, not a therapist for the purpose of, like, well, you know, what I really want to have is I want to have, like, someone who's going to fix me or whatever. I'd like to go to, like, a bad therapist. Because even a good therapist, I think, you know, people like to imagine that these magic people who can fix everything. I think what the reality actually is they are people who, you know, just have the ability. Okay, so we're going to put saddles on all of the donkeys, by the way. But I think what the reality is, they're just people who have a good understanding of how the brain works. Not even a good understanding, an immediate understanding, and who aren't in your life. I think the worst person still with any issue is you, because you statistically, you know, you might think you know you, but you don't know you as well as an outsider. In fact, knowing yourself can blind you to actual truths and judgments. So this horse is, this mule is slow. Even though he's got a lot of health, he's ruled out. This mule seems quick, has a bad jump though. This mule, this one, okay, it's got less health, but it's got that jump I'm talking about. And it's got like enough speed. It's not great, but it's not bad, right? It's much faster than a donkey, that's for sure. I just feel like we can do better, so we'll put this one in the no pile for now. Actually, let's compare this one to this one. So, yeah, this mule is definitely slower than the other one. No, wait, so it's the same mule, that's why. So that proves that my comparison was a bit flawed. But yeah, you can see this mule might actually be faster. But wait, is it the same mule again? It's not. It seems to have a worse jump, but it has more health in exchange for it. So it's not all so bad. And now let's go ahead and let's check the other ones, just by comparison. And we're going to find the fastest mule. It's my... Because, by the way, this is how, like, donkeys, they're notoriously slow. They're there for carrying capacity, not for, obviously, you know, doing actual stuff with. So anyway, let's try this mule now. So, definitely slower, I would say. If not the same speed, like, it's hard to really be sure. But it's got a lot more health, and the jump capacity... Okay, jump still sucks. Again, if you don't have jump capacity or speed, you're going in the no pile, in my opinion. I'm not going to kill the mules, but I'm going to leave them there. But yeah, I feel like a bad therapist would be great, because therapists are meant to be, like, the most messed up people I've always heard. You know, like, if you spend all your day just listening to other people's human misery, it's kind of, you know, there are certain jobs that don't lend themselves to having a positive view on humanity, and I'd love to hear from a therapist about their perspective on things, I guess, just for that kind of thing. The only because also I feel like, you know, a good therapist, one who actually can help you and make you a better person, probably going to be expensive. A bad therapist, you know, they need all the help they can get, I imagine. Let's feed some golden carrots to the donkeys here, and let's see if it grows them all the way up. That's my hope. That's my okay. It does not seem like it's worked that way. Doesn't seem like it's worked that way at all. So now we just kind of wait. Oh, okay, looks like he just grew up in time for me to ride him. And now we can do this. And we can give him the comparison. He's got less health, so I have to hope it doesn't work this way, but I have to hope that means we get a faster, jumpier horse. So yeah, you can see. It's definitely a bit faster than it was before. But it doesn't seem like by much. And we got more jump height, but like, still not much. Like, 2 blocks maybe. I don't think we can jump this fence properly. I think we're only jumping the fence because it's not properly laid out. Let's do a proper comparison. Right here, we've got a wall that's 3 blocks high. Can I jump straight from here up to there? No, I cannot, as you can see. Can I even jump 2 blocks? I can jump 2 blocks, but that's as good as we're getting, sadly. And that's pretty sad. Like, I feel like you need more than 3 blocks of jump, which is why we're going to keep on breeding horses and donkeys together. We're going to keep on making mules, and then we'll put the mules in the same place as the skeleton horse, which I don't know why he's in his own little horse pen here, but we're going to just have a whole place filled with mules that aren't good enough, just in case one day we do need them. But then this can be the holding pen for mules that are actually, you know, they're pretty good. They're okay. So like this guy, oh, actually he's got a better jump, I feel like. He might be able to do the mythical 3-block high jump, which is now going to be our measuring point. Nope, can't do 3 blocks, doesn't have enough speed, doesn't have amazing health, just okay enough, you know, like speed. Goes in this holding pen, and yeah, we're gonna like keep on breeding horses and donkeys together to try and make a better mule. And also another project I really want to start. It's a mess to actually get going, but I'd love to I'd love to start a horse breeding farm to try and find the best horse. Because the cool thing about breeding horses is once you get a good horse, you just have to breed it with another one, and you can theoretically get a better horse than either of the parents, and you can keep doing that, like then using the better horse over and over again, until you eventually have a whole wonderful thing. Of course, we need to make a horse speed tester and all these sorts of things, but yeah, it's a fun little project for the future. But you can see that we have now officially finished our stable. It now is a strong and stable project, and that is enough to be happy about, in my opinion. And yeah, I feel like it's a quaint little thing in the corner of the world, but sometimes you need small projects to balance out the giant ones. I do so many ridiculously sized projects that takes days and weeks and months. Like, you know, my end village that I'm still working on? It's gonna be weeks before that's actually finished, and like months before you see a video probably. There's lots of like big projects that just take so long that like it's demotivating to work on. It's nice to have small projects that you know you can finish. That's true for real life, that's true for Minecraft. And you know what else is true for Minecraft? That you should rate, follow, and subscribe this video. Because you know what, if you don't, I'll come round your house and I'll say nice things to your mother about how you raised how they raised a wonderful young child who doesn't listen to people on the internet even when they ask really nicely. But yeah, no, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure I like to believe, like, because obviously that's my way of I like to believe that like there's a lot of like 40-year-old dudes being like, okay, you know what, you convinced me, Toy Cat. I don't need my mother hearing about my lack of ability to like, subscribe, etc. But no, yeah, I subscribe to the video if you want to see more of them. I want to make a big push for like saying subscribe more this year, because I don't know, I want to have more subscribers, not for any reason other than vanity, of course. Oh, same with Instagram followers, actually. Follow me on Instagram, not because you want to see my posts, because they're garbage. I'm bad at taking pictures, and also I'm really just like flexing about my food and countries and stuff, but it makes me look impressive to people who don't know anything about other social media. So yeah, help Toy Cat out in his struggle to impress people he meets at parties who don't understand YouTube, and also help me out on my quest to have 1.5 million subscribers. I feel like that's a nice amount. I feel like once you have 1.5, you're like, well, you know, it's no 2 million, but it's the number where you're like, I didn't just hit 1 million and then give up. I got halfway to the next one and then I gave up. That's where I want to hit with the YouTube subscribers. This rant makes no sense. I guess this whole video made no sense, you could argue. But I hope you all enjoyed it regardless. And if you did, then smash that bell, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.